very ill, my friend. Morning, Mr. Handy. Drink this. Your medicine.
Nasty stuff.
But you feel better, don't you?
Yeah. I believe I'm all right. Still running. But I've lost track of time.
You arrived 4 days ago. But I took the liberty of winding your watch every morning, however.
I'm very grateful to you. I'm afraid I don't know what to call you, sir.
McMaster is my name, Mr. Henty.
Mr. McMaster. I believe you cured me.
Yes, there's medicine in our Amazon jungle for everything. Medicine to make you well, to make you ill. Plants to cure you and to make you mad. My mother was an Indian. She taught me about them.
Surely you're an American.
My father was.
How long have you lived here?
Oh, all my life.
I don't know how long I'd been lost when you found me.
Were you part of an exploring expedition?
Yes. I joined the Anderson expedition in Boston. I was fed up with the jungle of the civilized world, so I thought I'd explore the real jungle.
Perhaps it was the will of God. Do you believe in God, Mr. Henty?
Well, I suppose so.
Dickens did.
Dickens?
Yes, Charles Dickens. It's apparent in all his books. You'll see.
Are you the only American here?
Yes, I live alone. My father was a missionary. He took a Shiriana woman for his wife. Some of the men and women in this savannah are my relatives. All of them consider themselves my children. That's why they obey me. For that reason, and of course... Can you read, Mr. Henty?
Well, of course. Surely you can't be surprised.
Not so much surprised as overjoyed. It's not everyone who's so fortunate. I cannot read.
Well, I suppose you haven't had much opportunity.
Oh, on the contrary. I have a great many of my father's books. My father was a man of great education.
He didn't teach you to read?
No, I never let him. But he did better than that. He read to me. And then until quite recently, I had a guest here. A man from Venezuela. A man of very great education. The poor man died. But he was very kind to me. He read to me every afternoon for 2 hours. I wasn't expecting another visitor so soon.
Pickwick Papers. Great Expectations. Oliver Twist. Bleak House. Well, you're anything fond of Dickens.
Oh, far more than fond. Far more. You see, they're the only books I've ever heard. Are you fond of reading aloud, Mr. Henty?
I don't believe I... Yeah.
I've heard them all many times, but I never tire of them. There's always something more to be learned and noticed. So many characters, so many changes of scene, so many words. Each time I find more to enjoy and admire.
Would you like me to read to you now?
I'd hardly dared to hope. Oh, yes, Mr. Henty.
Which one?
It never matters, just so we begin. It takes a long time to read them all, more than 2 years.
They're bound to outlast my visit here.
Oh, it's delightful to begin again. Here, the first one happens to be...
Tale of Two Cities.
Delightful. I couldn't be more pleased. That's the one in which Sidney Carton goes to the guillotine.
It's the French Revolution.
A most distressing story, but it has a lofty and noble ending as I remember it. So, thank you. I believe there's time for at least one chapter before I give you tea.
Book the first. Recall to Life is the name of the chapter. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair.
That is the grave of poor Barnabas.
Barnabas?
Yes, my former guest from Venezuela. I buried him not long before you arrived. I think I'll put up a cross to commemorate his death and your arrival. A pretty idea. Come, it's time for us to get back to Oliver Twist. You read beautifully, with far more feeling than poor Barnabas. It's almost as though my father were here again.
He was alone in a strange place, and the boy had no friends to care for him. And he wished, as he crept into his narrow bed, that it were his coffin.
Poor lad. Poor little Oliver.
Perhaps you would like me to skip this part, since it is so sad.
No, Mr. Henty. Every word. I must hear every word.
Hello. Do any of you speak English? Mr. McMaster says you're his children. Well, I'm his guest. I'm leaving soon. Need boat. Need boat. Look. Boat. Can you make boat? Look. Canoe.
They're shy, the Shiriana Indians, and devoted to me. Can I help you?
I wanted to ask them about a boat.
A boat?
A boat to take me upriver.
But there isn't enough water in the river at this time. You must wait for the rains.
How long will that be?
Varies. A month, 2 months.
In the dim light of thought without control, a dream within a dream, rapidly to change the scene and cross the ocean to the English shore.
A pure delight throughout.
Our civilized world does produce some wonderful things, doesn't it? I joined that Anderson expedition to prove something. To Joyce.
Joyce?
My wife. I'd failed her in so many ways. Now, I feel much better equipped to face her again.
The raids! The raids, sir! Started! They always do it this time of year.
Now I can make preparations to go. I can go home.
Oh, Mr. Henty, Henty, I'm afraid that will not be possible for a while at least.
Why?
Perhaps when the rains stop.
You told me I could go upriver where they started.
That's quite right, Mr. Henty.
Indians could build me a boat.
The Indians, unfortunately, are superstitious. They'll not build a boat during the rainy season.
I don't believe it.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
Why did you tell me?
I must have forgotten. Pardon the omission. My children.
McMaster, you saved my life and I'll reward you, but you're keeping me here against my will and I demand to be released.
My friend, you're under no restraint. Go when you like.
You know perfectly well I can't go without your help.
In that case, you must humor me. Read me another chapter.
I swear to you by anything you like, when I get back to civilization, I'll send someone to take my place. I'll pay a man. I'll pay him to read to you all day.
But I have no need of another man.
I have read for the last time.
I hope not, Mr. Henty.
I have been seized with great violence and indignity and brought a great journey on foot. Now held here against my will, I suffer beyond hope. For the love of heaven, of justice, of generosity, I supplicate you to succor and release me from this prison of horror, where I find every hour nearer to destruction.
Hello there. Everybody home?
Today, sir.
Très fatigué. Could I get something to eat?
Oh, yes, certainly.
You do not remember me, huh? No wonder. The last time I came into this jungle was 9 years ago. You're new here.
Well, not new, really. He's been with me for more than a year.
The last time there was another...
Barnabas.
Yes, that's right. He always had a book in his hand, too. Went back, huh?
Oh, yes, he's gone long since. Where are you bound?
Manaus, far upriver.
Oh, you have a long way to go. You'll want to leave before it gets dark.
Oh, I think so.
I'll go with you.
No, Mr. Henty, you're not well enough. If you left now, you'd never survive. And I could never forgive myself. After you've had some food, you can be on your way.
You don't feel well.
It isn't exactly that I don't feel well.
So much better that you stay here. You need your rest.
Goodbye.
And now, Mr. Aubert, I'll see you on your way.
Well, goodbye.
I took my leave of Mr. Micawber for the time, charging him with my best remembrances to all at home. As I left him, I clearly perceived that there was something interposed between him and me.
May I interrupt, Mr. Henty? I couldn't be more entranced, as always, with David Copperfield. But why? It seems to me that you're reading with pleasure again.
Yes?
Why is that, Mr. Henty?
I live in hope, Mr. McMaster.
Ah, yes. Dickens does that to one. That's the great thing about Dickens.
Did he bring news?
News? No. Why, were you expecting news?
No. But he seemed so excited.
Oh, only because our natives are planning a celebration for tonight. I think you'll enjoy it, Mr. Henty.
Any variation from my daily routine will be most welcome.
Very pleasant, I think. Somewhat the flavor of honey and brown bread.
I've had worse back home. I thought I never wanted to see Boston again. But I'll be so happy to get back home. Joyce. I know now I can cope with my civilized world. No, Mr. McMaster.
Yes?
In an odd way, I shall always think very fondly of this place. At least in the way I feel right at this moment. Good and drowsy. And at peace. That's a wonderful drink. Doesn't seem to affect you the same, does it?
I'm more used to the drink.
Floating in my canoe at last. Floating home. And I will. Soon, Mr. McMaster. Someday. Soon. Well,
How do you do, gentlemen? I've been expecting you. My Indians told me yesterday that you were but a few miles away.
Are you by any chance Mr. McMaster?
At your service, gentlemen.
Bear gave us rather garbled instructions how to get here.
Bear. Oh, yes, the Frenchman.
Yeah. He told us we might find the last member of the Anderson expedition here.
The Anderson expedition?
They disappeared in the jungle more than 2 years ago. Anderson, his 3 natives, and another American named Paul Henty.
Ah, yes, poor Mr. Henty. I knew him. He was here.
He hasn't gone, has he?
But not in the sense that you mean. Mr. Henty was my guest here for a period. Unfortunately, he contracted jungle fever and died not long ago.
And he gave the Frenchman this.
What is it?
Release me from this prison of horror, where I find every hour nearer to destruction.
He tore a page from one of my books. Of course, it isn't surprising. Toward the end, the fever drove him to such odd things. He even imagined himself to be a character out of Dickens. Sad to think of it now. Come, gentlemen. I'll show you.
We'll send it to his family in Boston.
Yes. Oh, by the way, gentlemen, Mr. Henty's watch. I expect that's his name engraved on the back. Perhaps his family would like to have it. I'm sorry to be sending them such a sad keepsake.
Well, it's still running.
I've kept it wound daily in poor Mr. Henty's memory. But come, gentlemen, let us try not to be too depressed. I'd like you to eat with me. I'd like you to be my guests. Friend, you're late for the reading. We're starting A Tale of Two Cities again, aren't we? How do you feel?
Rotten.
I'll give you something to make you feel better. But, Mr. Henty, will you kindly put this back in the book in which it belongs?
They're here.
No, Mr. Henty, they were here.
I'll find them.
You won't find them. They've been gone for 2 days.
2 days?
You were asleep, sound asleep.
Didn't they ask for me?
Yes.
They'll come back.
No, they were satisfied with the little souvenir I gave them. Your watch. They wanted it to take home to your wife. They were very pleased with it. They also took photographs of the cross I put on the grave.
But that wasn't my...
They were pleased with that, too. They were very easily pleased. Your head aches, doesn't it? I'll be kind, Mr. Henty. We'll not have any Dickens today. But tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. And then we'll begin the tale of two cities again. There are certain passages in that book I can never hear without the temptation to weep.
Book the first. Recall to life. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair.